What is up, guys? Welcome to vlog numero dos. That is number 2 for my non-Spanish speakers. I'm very fluent. It took 5 years, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Strap on for a bumpy ride because you guys are still sitting on my gym tripod. I actually tried to start recording a little bit earlier, but had some technical difficulties just getting out of my apartment complex because the tripod could not stay up going around the 2 turns that I made. So I had to make some adjustments to the height and base and everything like that. I really need to go on Amazon or maybe hit up Best Buy later and get a better tripod because I record so often throughout the week, but I still have an awful tripod that's half broken because I lost the bottom screw on it. So I can't even set the base and have it stay properly. I'll go buy a phone mount or something like that, or maybe even just a better camera so that I can properly record these vlogs for you guys. Now we've got a leg day coming up here. I didn't train yesterday. It was Father's Day. I went to Charlottesville, just hung out with the family, got some Korean barbecue, measured, weighed all that food, brought my scale to the restaurant. Woke up at a new low today as well, guys. So I am 7.5-ish weeks out from the first show. Now that show is going to be more of a, I don't really like calling it a warm-up show because I still take it seriously. But I guess you could call it that because it's not the main focus of my prep. I wasn't really even planning on doing that show up until recently, just because I really want to take the overall at the Cutler. I've competed at it twice, and you know, I took first in my class last year, but not good enough. Job's not done. So I want to do that and then hit North Americans, try and go for a pro card. You know, I'd be happy if I come in the most shredded I've ever been, the biggest I've ever been. But of course, we're going for that pro card. Now, for today's leg session, I'm thinking about throwing in some triceps just because it's been a little while since I've hit them. I think since I was last in Las Vegas. So I think I've had at least 2-3 days since I've last hit triceps. And then what I'll do tomorrow is I'll likely just take my back and shoulder days and just do a little mix match. So I'm still keeping the same exercises, but I basically will rotate them around throughout my week just so that I can continue hitting them with an optimal frequency, even if my week is thrown off due to traveling, you know, holidays, whatever. I'm still hitting all the same exercises, all the same muscle groups within around the same amount of time that I should be hitting them for my split layout, but it's just not, you know, perfect or ideal, which it never really is. And if anything, I think I'm going to make better progress doing stuff like this just because, you know, I'm not confined to such a strict split layout throughout the week, and I can adjust as needed, still getting in, you know, the same muscle groups that I normally would be. So I'm thinking we're going to start with triceps, and considering that I just hit quads in Vegas, I hit a squat movement, and then I don't think I've hit legs since then. No, I don't think I have. So what I'll do is, because I really only did a couple exercises for quads, I'm going to mostly focus on hamstring, adductor, and then I'll try and get my squat movement in as well. I might leave leg extensions off. I'm kind of still just piecing it together as I'm going to the gym, just thinking about what I've done in the last week or so. So yeah, we'll do a tricep exercise. I don't know that I'll do more than one. Since I just hit calves the other day, I won't do calves. Probably leave that for tomorrow's session when I hit, say, back and shoulders. And then I'll probably go to my hamstring movement and then adductor. And then I like to typically leave the squat last, just because it is a more fatiguing movement in comparison to all the others that I just mentioned. So, you know, a tricep isolation, hamstring isolation, and then, you know, an adductor movement as well. So it's going to be much less fatiguing in comparison for those movements compared to a squat, because we got a big compound movement and exercise that's also working the quads in a more lengthened position. So you've got more accrued fatigue from that as well. So the fatigue from that is much more likely to affect the, you know, subsequent movements that I would program after it in terms of the motor units that I'm able to recruit and just how good I feel for those exercises energy-wise. Just because if you've ever done a few hard sets of a squat, especially taking it to failure, you know how draining that is. So that's kind of why I like structuring it that way. I found that even putting my squat movement last, it doesn't really affect my strength for that squat. I've tested this a few times, and so long as I'm doing, lower volume, higher intensity stuff prior to that and focusing on more mid to short range movements, so the length that you're actually working the muscles at, it's not going to affect me too badly. Now, there are some days where I'm just really dreading doing that squat, so I may put it first just to get it out of the way and not have to worry about it for the rest of the exercise, because to me, the other stuff is fairly easy to get through. So it's not as daunting knowing that it's going to come up later in the workout. So that's what I'm thinking for today's session. It's always nice just getting a good little arm pump and then going to hit legs. My triceps are feeling pretty good right now. My chest is very sore from the workout that I hit the other day. So I'm not really worried about my triceps potentially being fatigued going into tomorrow. Now, what that may affect, however, is my shoulder press. So that's something for me to consider. I think that I'll still go ahead and do triceps though, and what I'll do is I'm basically just going to make it a more back focused day, and I may just instead do some kind of lateral raise and maybe a rear delt isolation exercise to go along with 2 or 3 back exercises. That's what I'm thinking anyways. That way I don't have any kind of, heavy shoulder press that is very likely to be affected by my tricep work today. Especially because I just hit shoulders not too long ago. So that's what I'm thinking. And I think it sounds like a good plan to me. So I will see you guys at the gym in a second here. I've got another 7-ish minutes on my drive. Catch you there. All right, y'all. So we just pulled up to the gym. I was actually sitting in my car for a good, probably 15 minutes. I just uploaded another YouTube video, the Croptimal Q&A. I'm really bad at uploading these videos. I actually have another push day video where I go into why I like using different, inclines and stuff like that. But there's my car all the way in the back. Anyways, kind of ADHD. I was talking about the push day video. Yeah, I haven't uploaded that yet just because I wanted to include some graphics and stuff like that, but hasn't happened yet. And I've just been putting it off, but I should definitely upload that soon. This video will probably go up before that just because such minimal editing needed for this video. I kind of just cut it if I don't talk for a good 10 seconds and then leave it as is. Just throw it all together. But I kind of like that. It feels more genuine. As you guys can see, parking all the way in the back again, just because I don't like people hitting my car, and I also don't mind getting an extra, I feel like I might even get an extra 1,000-ish steps throughout the day if I'm running a lot of errands and I'm parking way in the back. It's nice and toasty out today. I've got a tank under this too, so once I start hitting triceps, get a little pump going, I can take off the oversized tee. All right. Let's get this leg day in, guys. See you inside. All right, super crowded on the other side of the gym. Luckily, my gym just added these cables to the other side, so it doesn't look like anybody's using those. I'm just gonna go do some tricep push downs, get a nice little pump in, probably do 2 working sets, call it a day on triceps, and then move on to some quads. Actually, hamstrings first, then quads. Change of plans. I'm pretty sure I left my tricep rope the last time I was here, so hopefully it is still there. It's like the 3rd time I've done this. Usually it is. So, like I said, it's a great gym. My rope was basically right where I left it. It's actually with all the other attachments. People put their stuff away here. And yeah, not a problem. I've done this at like all the Gold's gyms that I go to, and the equipment is pretty much always there. I don't think I've lost anything that I've ever left here. So, great gyms, great people. Do a little quick warm-up set, 12, 15 reps. Make sure my elbows are feeling nice, full range of motion, full elbow bend, full extension, hard squeeze. So at the bottom here, when I'm doing these, a lot of people will kind of twist out and bend the rope at the bottom. I don't really think that's necessary. I kind of just keep it aligned and extend and push outwards versus bending the rope, if that makes sense. So at the bottom versus exerting more energy to try and bend the rope down, I'll just focus on extending and kind of pushing outwards with where my natural extension, or where my elbows naturally extend to anyways, I should say. I don't know how many reps that was, but it was enough.
JPG, right?
Yeah, how's it going, bro?
Doing good. I'm for my friend.
Yo, what's up, man? How's it going, bro? Thank you, man. What was your name? Nate, nice to meet you, Nate. Well, nice to talk.
Do you mind if I get a photo with you?
Not at all, bro. Let's do it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
You want to be in the video?
You don't mind?
I'm putting up a YouTube video right now. If you want to be in it,
that's
we'll
so
take.
awesome.
Yeah, we can take the picture in there if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll talk to you later.
I like the fit, dude.
Appreciate it.
USA,
This
bro.
looks so surreal, man.
Yeah, man. Nice to meet you. What is your
Nice to
name?
meet you. Michael.
Michael. Nice to meet you, Michael. Yeah. What are you hitting today?
I'm doing legs. I'm over there squatting right now.
Nice, dude. Everybody's doing legs today.
Yes, that's
Cool.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you maybe want to set the phone up like there? That way it's like a selfie video and you can just take screenshots.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do for. Nice.
So, like, what are you?
Yeah, throw it in like 4K. That way it's or 60.
I didn't even know
We'll try
about
60.
that.
Yeah, there you go. That way it's a little bit nicer when you take the screenshots.
Dude, that's so cool.
Cool. How's that?
That's great.
Yeah, a little closer this way. Right there. All right, you get the angle on me, dude.
Okay.
Nice. Want to get a leg flex in?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of have
Let
to.
me take. Even though I'm not pumped.
You got a stringer under that?
Of course.
Of course, of course.
Nothing crazy,
Cool. Here, get in front of me a little bit. It's your pick, dude. Yeah. Cool.
but awesome. Yeah.
Nice to meet
Thanks
you, Michael.
so much, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Have a good rest of your workout, all right?
You too, man.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, dude. Let's get our next set in. So I was at 6. I'm gonna bump it up to like 9. There's no pounds or anything on here, so I'm assuming that's like 60 pounds, kilograms. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So that was about 9 reps, if I know how to count. I'm gonna call that it for my warm-up sets. I wanna do around 6 to 8 reps. So considering that I'm at 9 right now, and that was fairly easy, I'm just gonna try and bump it up to 12. That might actually be the heaviest that I've ever gone on these. And I think I'm pretty confident I can get at least 6 to 8. So see how it goes. Gonna take a maybe 1-2 minute breather and we'll run it back. Going back to the loading on this and not knowing the numbers, I have a lot of people in my training teams ask me questions about how they should be logging their workout, stuff like that. Whether they should log 1 dumbbell if they're doing a dumbbell press or curls, both dumbbells, if they should add in the starting platform weight on their hack squat or leg press, whatever machine they're using. And honestly, the way that I log, I just try and keep it as simple as possible. Like if I'm doing dumbbell curls, for example, I'm not gonna take the 0.5 seconds to add how much both dumbbells weigh together, I'm probably just gonna write 65 pounds in my log for how many reps. Or if I'm doing a hack squat, I'm not gonna write, you know, the total plate tonnage plus the starting ramp weight, do all the math for that, calculate it. I'm just gonna write, okay, I did 5.5 plates today for X number of reps. I don't wanna have to do a little equation every time I do a set and then write it in my notes or wherever I'm logging. Just keep it simple. It's really just for you anyways to know that you are progressively overloading. So unless you want to look impressive for something and write that you wrote, you know, or write that you did X number of pounds in total in a session to make it look cool, then I don't think it really matters. I think that was enough time. Just gonna go for it. So we have almost a full stack on here. I am currently 3 notches away from that. So let's see how this goes. Oh, it's heavy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Oh. Oh. I think that was 6.5. Not bad. Still within my rep range. Next set, I'll go back down to 10. I'll do a little mechanical drop set probably. Start a little bit further back, walk it forward. That way I'm working each joint angle a little bit more. So if I step back, it's gonna work this position a bit more. As I step forward, it'll work this bent elbow position where the long head of the triceps has a bit better leverage. How much of a difference that's gonna make in your growth? I don't know, feels good. Nice tricep pump, and I feel like it's one of those things that can't hurt. If anything, it adds a bit more fatigue, but I'm only doing it for 1 set, not a problem. That's the thing, a lot of people will do intensity techniques like that, but they'll do it for 10 sets in a workout. So, of course, it's probably gonna be more than they actually need, more than they can really recover from. But if you're doing it for a few sets in a workout, I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's about time for the shirt to come off. Village Hidden in Iron, pretty sweet design. Couple minute breather, and we'll run the last set. You and me in the cut time. Stay up tonight. Please stay up tonight. It's my wife. Subtle flex. All right. I think it's only been a couple minutes max, but I'm trying to hit the set already. All right, let's do it. So I'd like to get 6 to 8 reps in this back position here, and then maybe get 3 to 5 partials up here. Oh, it's heavy. Since I'm so tall, I have to bend over a bit, but For those of you short kings out there, you probably don't have to do that, but I'm like well above average height, so I've got to bend a little bit. That's it for triceps. On to the fun stuff. Is that looking frame to you? Is that looking frame? Can you see it with your special eyes? I'm in it. Sick. My wife has stupid 20/20 vision. So silly. So, thinking a change of plans, because my wife is right here squatting, and she needs a spot. And pendulum squat just so happens to be here. So I feel like I may as well just pivot, do the pendulum squat now. That way I can also spot her, and then I'll do my hamstring curls and adductors after. So completely different from what I just said I was gonna do, but not a big deal. Let's get it. Good. Come on, baby. Nice. You got one more? I think so. Come on, big breath. Good. Yeah, I call it there. It's about that time. Time to put on all of my squatting accessories. Got my Village hidden in iron knee sleeves here. All right. As easy as that. Fold them. These are brand new too. I actually haven't used these. I'm about to pinch myself with these plates, dude. So you just fold them inside out. About so much, or about so, right there. And then pop these bad boys on. And pull them. There we go. So easy. All right. I gotta get in the zone for pendulum squats. Such a humbling lift. Because I can do 5 plates a side on a hack squat, but you put 5 plates total on a pendulum squat, it feels like death. Just gotta mentally prepare. Last time that I used this pendulum squat, I hurt myself. Not because I did anything really wrong. It was just the sheer act of bracing and pushing up into the handles. Just tweaked a little something in my left shoulder blade. Felt uncomfy for a few days. I worked around it. Did what I could without pain, or at least minimal pain. And I was fine after a few days. So no big deal. Let's run it back and see what we can do. So since I've used this before, I have a roundabout idea of where my feet should go, but every time I use it, I still use those initial warm-up sets to basically test it, see where my feet really need to go. And I'll just start low, and I'll start more narrow. And as I find my foot positioning, I may have to work it up, externally rotate a bit, but we'll know from this first rep and be able to adjust accordingly. If it feels good, it feels good. See, this feels pretty good, but sinking into the bottom, I can actually feel my feet going to externally rotate. So I'm basically just gonna make note of that, mark it where it is, and then that will be my starting foot position. So I think I did a pretty good job finding the initial placement for it. And from here, all I'm gonna do is make a little mark with my fingernail or whatever. There's no weight on here, so it's pretty easy to do. It's not making a mark. I don't think I have enough fingernail, I guess. There we go. Kind of. Then we'll just get a few reps in. Cool. I think I'm just gonna go to 2 plates straight away from that initial, I guess, kind of warm-up set. Just finding my foot placement basically. Just so I don't have to do a ton of different warm-up sets, because back when I first started doing this, I basically do a plate, a plate, a plate, a plate, working up to 4, 5, 6 plates, depending on how I was feeling that day for my top set. And it just takes forever. Something I typically would do if I were doing something like that is, instead of doing 6 to 8 reps, I might just do 2, 3, feel it out, and then immediately go up another plate. But I'm feeling pretty good today. It's super hot outside. I walked around a lot earlier, so I'm feeling a lot warmer than usual. So I'm just gonna jump straight to 2, and then I'll probably still do that 2, 3 rep as I get closer to my true working weight. If you see this machine over here moving, it's because I normally put the camera inside of that machine just because it kind of frames this perfectly, but somebody's using it right now and I didn't want to be a bother and leave my camera in there. I actually don't think it would touch it just because it's the V squat over here, but still. I always feel so bad when I'm filming in the gym because people feel the need to move around me, but I'm the one filming in a public space, so if anything, I'd much rather they just act like the camera wasn't even there. And I have had some people tell me they don't want to be on camera. Completely respect that. I can go and film somewhere else, if anything, or at least angle it in such a way that they're not going to be in it, or blur their face, whatever they want. But most people are pretty cool about it. All right, enough talking. Let's do some work. That's what we're here for. Oh no, my marks are like coming off. I think that's about where I had my feet. Need to bring some like painter's tape or something so I can just put it down and it stays. Pretty easy, 8 reps. So I'm immediately bump up to 3 for this next set and do like 3 to 5 reps, and then go up to 4 shortly after that. Quick 3 rep, felt pretty good. On these warm-up sets, you guys notice I typically like to spend a bit more time at the bottom there, just so that I know when I go into my working sets, if I do happen to get very deep in the bottom of that squat, I'm prepared, I'm warmed up for that, versus a lot of people that do like a 3/4 half rep, never get into that bottom position. They load more weight, that weight pushes them into the bottom of that squat, and then they're like, oh, my knees feel so bad. Yeah, dude, you didn't warm up for that at all. Could also be that if they never train that position whatsoever, perhaps the weight doesn't push them into that at any point during their workouts. They really don't train that full knee flexion position. They're just not acclimated for that load. So using a full range of motion on your squats, I think, is pretty crucial for complete leg development, especially if you want big quads, big adductors as well.
especially doing a deep hip flexion squat for the adductors. What's up? What's up? You need me? All right, so we got 4 plates loaded on this bad boy. Getting a little bit heavier, but hopefully this feels very light. We'll see. Some days 4 plates feels like air, and other days it feels like 1.5 billion plates. But considering how long it's been since I've done a squat to failure, I think I should be all right. Same foot positioning. Big breath. Pretty easy 3. What's up, dude?
Are you?
How you been, man?
You making some content right now?
I'm making some
Are
content
you
right
hot
now.
on the mic right now? Are we
I'm
live?
hot on the mic. We're live, dude.
Bro, how's it going?
I'm not gonna cut this either.
Bro, this is beautiful.
Yeah, my last I made that vlog. I don't know if you saw it, but it's like 50 minutes long because I didn't cut like anything.
There's some raw behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah. Like the full drive over, like straight 15, 17-minute drive.
Where even is the camera?
Right here.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's a nice setup.
You like that?
Bro, you bleed right now.
Thanks, dude. I hit a new low today.
What is it?
Yeah, 185-ish.
Unreal.
Unreal.
How do you feel? Are you sluggish?
No, I feel good. Yeah, energy's still pretty high. I'm getting hungrier, but like I didn't even eat all my calories yesterday, so I feel like I'm still in a good place. I feel like 7-ish weeks out.
I'm toast right now. I'm really
Yeah?
tired.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're also like what, 7 weeks out?
7.5.
7.5. Yeah. Okay, so I was right because we're competing around the same time. So
199 right
199. What do you have to be at?
now. You said like 190 probably.
190. Oh, dude, you're good. What are you hitting right now?
I got legs.
Legs? That's what I'm doing.
Bro, we're gonna have these puffed up legs.
Yeah. Having your legs all pumped up is like the worst for posing.
Yeah, it just looks like one bone.
Yeah. But I did some triceps today too, so
Bro, looks good.
got a little pump. All right, dude.
I'm gonna go hit some seated leg curls.
Sounds good. See ya. See you around. That's my videographer, Steven. You got a lot of rest in. I don't know how long that was, but I have to imagine that was well over 5 minutes. So this better fly for an undisclosed amount of reps. If it feels super easy for the first rep, I might actually just rack it and then go up to like 5.25, maybe. We'll see. I like to save the belt for my first potential working set, just because it makes the weight feel that much easier. It's a mental thing as well, leaving the belt off, so that once I do hit that working set, it feels comparatively easier than if I weren't wearing the belt. So, let's get it. Same foot positioning. I really like to spend time on my setup, making sure everything looks, feels good. Otherwise, if I go into my set, even being 90% off, it could throw off my entire set. Spend more time on the setup, and you won't have to worry about your execution as much. Okay. So it did not fly up. Probably because I just hit pendulum squats early last week with the barbell brigade crew. Actually hack squats, but super similar movement. I'll take it. It's not bad. 5 for 5. So next set, I think I'll go down to like 4.5, or maybe stay with 5. No, I'll go down to 4.5. Rep it out to failure. Catch my breath first though, ideally. All right, so go down to 4.5. So, as of right now, it is 5:22 p.m. Eastern Time, and I've had 2 scoops of casein protein. It's kind of how I like to start my day off, because in prep, when my calories are getting lower, so I'm eating around 2,400 right now, even less on some rest days if I can manage it. I think yesterday I had less than 2,000, maybe around, I think 1,700 it was. I typically like to, not even like to, but I don't feel as hungry in the morning. It's probably because I have my coffee, and I tend to eat pretty late, so I feel like that has some carryover into the next morning in terms of my satiety. So if I can get out the house, just have that quick shake, stimulate muscle protein synthesis, delay my hunger a little bit, then that kind of gives me another 3-ish hour buffer between my next meal, and I can eat a lot more for those later meals in the day, and the whole cycle basically just repeats itself. So I haven't felt super hungry yet this cut. I know it's starting to get there, but it's not too bad yet. And part of the reason I'm talking right now is because I really didn't want to start this set yet. I thought about it for a second, it sounded awful. So I thought I needed another minute or 2 just to recover, let things come back down to near baseline. All right, let's get it. So goal for this set is to get very close to failure or hit failure. So let's see what we can do. Come on. Just lightweight. Yeah, it's kind of within expectations. Oh. All right, so basically, I'm gonna catch my breath, and then we're gonna go over to the seated hamstring curl. The other day, on Father's Day, we went out to that Korean barbecue spot, which the tracked olive, by the way. I even had a little soju drink. I think it was like some green apple, something. Track that too. But when you take into consideration that the sodium was a lot higher that day, I'm probably holding on to some water. I actually bought some coconut water from Trader Joe's after that, which I forgot to drink to help balance that out. But knowing that, my weight today is actually probably lighter than I would think. I'm sweating a lot right now, which tells me that on a normal sodium day, that I might even be a pound or two lighter than I weighed this morning. So that's good to know. Super sweaty, so always wipe your stuff down, guys. Just takes a second. Don't be gross. Put your weights away. A little creatine. We've made our way across the gym. We're gonna do some seated hamstring curls now. For some reason in my head, I wanted to call it seated tricep curls. Stopped myself, but felt the need to let you guys know. Because I don't even know what that would look like. Seated tricep curl. You guys tell me what you think that would look like. But I'm not gonna use my knee sleeves on this. It's not really necessary. I don't really like the feeling of the knee sleeves when I'm doing some kind of hamstring curl, just because it all bunches up behind the knee. I also don't need my squat shoes or anything like that. I could actually do the pendulum squat without squat shoes, just because my ankle mobility is pretty good, but it just makes it that much easier to sink the squat and also feel more stable at the bottom, just because it has a slightly wider base than my other shoes. So for this hamstring curl, I'm just gonna do 2 sets. I don't think I'm gonna do anything complicated, nothing fancy. I'll just do 2 straight sets at around 6 to 10 reps. First set will be my top set, so I'll go heavier on that. Second set will be my back off set with rest in between, which I'm gonna go a bit lighter on. And if you guys have noticed, that's kind of how I've approached all of my exercises this training session, and pretty much all my training sessions. Wonder how long this video is gonna be. The last one I maybe could have cut down a little bit more, but I tend to ramble. So it's almost an hour, it's crazy. Having used this machine so many times, I have a pretty good idea of where I need to be already. I think this was at 2. If it's not 2, then it's 3. Pretty sure. And I think this was also at 2. But we'll find out very shortly here. So this machine goes up to 190. I'm gonna start at, I think this is 90 right here. And see how things are feeling. Yeah, perfect. See, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Hard squeeze, go for that stretch. I think that was 10, maybe. So we're at 90 now. I'm gonna bump it up to like 130. And then I think 150 will be my first working set. We'll see how the 130 feels though. If it feels stupid easy, I may go to 170. So I'll try this for like 6-7 reps. And if it's flying the whole time, then to bump it up. Sometimes I have to remember because I guess most people's legs are not this size. So they tend to put their feet a little bit narrower in, which has created these kind of dips into the padding. So if I'm not careful and I don't think about that, I might just put my shins in place there. But in actuality, I need to be a little bit wider out just for my knees to flex in line with where they actually hinge. So going in too narrow can actually make my knees feel a little funky after I do my working sets, which I've definitely experienced before. Fairly easy 6. So I think if I take a quick breather, that I can potentially do 170. So we'll try it. At worst, I think I'll get maybe 4, which isn't even bad. If I can get 4 to 6 clean reps out of this, I'd be happy with that. So we're at 170 now. I know this is gonna feel heavy, but I'm gonna make it look light. That's always the goal anyways. Let's see. I don't even know how many reps that was. I think I blacked out for the entirety of that set. Oh my God, that was heavy. All right, I'm actually gonna go to 130 just because I'm taking a little bit less rest because I don't want to be on here too long with somebody waiting. Not a big deal. All right. Okay, that's a wrap. All right, y'all. So we're hopping on the thigh clapper here. Just walked off from the other side of the gym. Still a little winded after that initial, I guess, last seated hamstring curl set, but just gonna be doing my warm up, so not a big deal. I have stacked this out in the past, so it goes up to 190, same as the seated hamstring. I think I will start at 130. Probably only do 1 warm-up set because I'm pretty warmed up already. Like, yes, the other adductor muscles may not be as warmed up, but I don't think I need to do 3 ramp-up sets just for this. If you guys saw my video on it, I like to stand up, set it outside of where my actual active ROM is. That way I can reach my full active ROM, get a nice stretch, versus stopping short of that if I were to set it up seated. Check that video out. All right, so 130, pretty easy. Go up to 190. Rest around a minute. Whew. Honestly, if you guys see me just like sitting here, if I happen to not cut out a part where I'm just staring off into space, typically what I'm doing is I'm thinking about what I have to get done for the rest of the day. Usually that's going to be some kind of program writing or editing. I pop into my team chats for Glute Max and Golden Air Aesthetics every day as well. So I'll be in there answering form questions, fitness questions in general, dieting stuff, just whatever they got for me in the team chat that I haven't already answered in the FAQ. So I do that every day. Then of course making content for you guys. So I'll probably get home, chop this video up a bit, not too much. We'll leave it pretty raw. And then I've also got to upload some short form content to my TikTok, my Instagram. I've uploaded a couple shorts to YouTube today, which I have been very bad about. It's probably the first time I've uploaded shorts to there in months, but I also uploaded another YouTube video, which I mentioned earlier. Feel pretty good about that. It's been a fairly productive day so far. And then I've got plenty of food to eat when I get home. So I've got a full day, but looking forward to it. I like what I do, so. Enough talking, let's get into the set. Spread them. Don't clip that. So this is full stack. Come on. Oh, fuck. I think that was like 5-ish. Man, I haven't done this machine in, it's been at least over a week. But I've also lost a lot of weight in between that time. So that could definitely be affecting my strength going into this session. Because I'm probably a good 3 to 5 pounds lighter than the last time I used this machine. So taking into account that I just have less overall energy right now, even though I still feel pretty good. I know I'm not at, my maximum strength was in the last couple of months when I weighed 195 versus 185. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I think I'm gonna drop it down to 150 and I'll just go for an all-out set of that. I honestly wanna get out of here, go get a start on my day in terms of my work, get some food. So I don't wanna rest too long. Maybe rest another 30 seconds to a minute. And then get into it. Honestly, just whenever I finish rambling, talking. I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering what I'm doing in terms of cardio right now. I actually haven't really started tracking steps or adding in any kind of steady state cardio. Considering that my weight is still continuing to drop, I'm basically just going to keep going with following a deficit in terms of my intake. And then once that plateaus for a while and I don't have any calories to work with, that's when I will basically just start with adding in some cardio to create that deficit again. That way I'm not going, way past sub 2,000 calories. And I can still eat, or at least feel like I'm eating a decent amount, because 2,400 it's pretty low for me. But with the way that I set up my day, what I told you guys about earlier with only having the shakes in the morning, offsetting things, so I'm eating majority at night, it really doesn't feel too bad. And then the fact that I'm eating very high protein, getting plenty of sleep as well. Feeling solid for 7-ish weeks out. All right, let's do the set. It's honestly probably close to 3 minutes rest. I don't know, you guys would know better than me because you're just sitting there watching the video and I haven't cut it. Probably 2 minutes, I would say. Probably should have dropped the weight more. Some assistance. One more, and I'll hold it to failure. Oh. And that's the workout. I'm beat. I should say I'm tired, but not as tired as honestly some of my workouts in the past where I was doing stupid high volume, 30 working sets in a single session back in college. And that was during bulking phases, and I felt more drained after those workouts than I do now on literally half as many calories. Because there was a point in college where I was eating track for a few months. I think it was 5,500 to 6,000 calories. I think I actually ate that for maybe a month and a half before I just got way too fat. But prior to that, I was still eating around 5,000 calories for at least 2-3 months. That was probably the chunkiest I've ever been. Oh, you're good, please. I'm sorry about that. Wipe your stuff down. Don't be gross. All right, that is a wrap for today's training session. I'm gonna go see if the posing room is open right now. Go do a couple flexes, see how we're looking. Post leg day is really the worst time to pose though, just because you really don't want to get a pump in your legs before you go pose. You're gonna wash out all your definition. So it's always funny. It's maybe not funny, but when you see competitors backstage and they're pumping their quads up, and after the show, I might tell them, hey, don't do that next time. But if we're competing against each other, all's fair. Probably not gonna stop you if we're in the same class. A little nugget for you competitors out there, because there's always a few each show backstage that sometimes they even have coaches. So I just wonder what their coaches are actually telling them, because they're back there, they're doing squats, lunges, even banded leg extensions, stuff like that, pumping up their hamstrings. And I'm just like, man, usually the guys that are doing that are honestly not even, super lean to the point where it's gonna make a huge difference, but it definitely does. So you can even test it out yourself going into the show. Just try pumping your quads up and then flexing. Gonna wash them out. Hi, Betsy. It's my videographer, Steven's new wife. I shouldn't say new wife like you just picked her up off a catalog, but they've been dating for some time and they just got married recently. So that's why I say that. They're super pumped up right now, so I can't even get a proper flex on. Just gonna practice the mandatories. Same shit, different day. Make sure when you're practicing posing though that legs are always on, because there's some guys who will be lazy with that during practice. They'll only flex upper body and then forget on stage. The side is always so hard to bring my obliques out. And that's part of the reason I was cool getting a tattoo here, just because if you can't see my obliques, it's fine, I got a tattoo there. Then this side, it's way easier. Another thing too, when you're practicing posing, make sure you can practice without actually seeing yourself in the mirror. Because there are some guys who never practice without the mirror, and then when they get on stage, they're just lost. They look lost. I also like to practice different variations of these poses. So here's one, 2, one that's a little bit more to the side. I like that because you see a little bit more lower lat, looks very classic. Play with different foot positionings as well. See what looks good. Let's go front lat spread. even though I'm gonna be doing classic. God, I get so winded. My adductors are so pumped, it's actually making it hard to push my hamstring against my leg. That pose is actually starting to look better. Getting there. Definitely not there yet. Favorite classic? All right, guys, that's a wrap for today's training session. I'm gonna go home, eat some food. Heading home now. I just stopped the dude back there, one of those cars. So he was backing out because his tires on that side were like completely flat. Just driving on his rims basically. It actually kind of looked like he'd been driving like that for a while, just because his wheels were kind of bent up, but I don't know. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, stuck around to watch. Let me know if you made it to the end of this video. If you did make it to the end of this video, go ahead in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys might want to see next time. And that'll let me know who watched the whole video, and also give me some ideas that I can get to for the next video for everybody who stuck it through. All right, see you guys next time.